The invisible reason your lungs dissolve gas into your blood the exact same way a lake in Central Africa dissolves enough methane to level a city. And in 1986, a lake doing this quietly for centuries exhaled once in the night, and 1,800 people never woke up. That lake is still breathing. And its bigger, deadlier cousin? Nobody knows why it won't stop. 2 million people live on the shores of Lake Kivu. It sits between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo, deep and cold and beautiful. Tourists photograph it. Fishermen cross it every morning before dawn. Children swim in it. Beneath the surface, under hundreds of meters of water held in perfect stillness, the lake is storing 60 cubic kilometers of methane and 300 cubic kilometers of carbon dioxide. Those aren't abstract numbers. That is the equivalent of 1,000 Hiroshima-scale blasts, dissolved and waiting, pressurized by depth, held in place by physics that scientists still do not fully understand. The lake breathes, it always has. The question nobody can answer is, when does it decide to exhale? Here is what they know: deep water is cold, cold water is dense, dense water sinks. And as it sinks, it traps gases rising from below, from volcanic vents on the lake floor, from decomposing organic matter, from Nyiragongo volcano, one of the most active on Earth, whose lava lake drains directly into the geology underneath Kivu. For thousands of years, the lake has been inhaling, accumulating. The deepest layers are now so saturated with gas that a single cubic meter of that deep water, if you dragged it to the surface, would expand instantly into 40 cubic meters of gas. The pressure prevents it from rising. The temperature stratification traps it. The chemistry locks it in place. Scientists call it a meromictic lake. The layers never mix. The deep zone stays deep. The gas stays dissolved. But something has been disturbing that equilibrium, and nobody agrees on what. Here is what should stop you cold. Kivu does not behave like other lakes. It pulses. Researchers have detected regular, rhythmic oscillations in the gas columns, not volcanic, not seasonal, not linked to any external event they can name. The lake is doing something internally, autonomously, something that looks almost biological in its regularity. Some scientists have measured these pulses and found a cycle. Others have measured the same data and found no cycle at all. The instruments agree on what is happening. They cannot agree on why. And that gap, between the observable fact and the missing explanation, is exactly where 2 million lives are sitting right now. You were expecting a clean scientific answer. There isn't one. In 1986, Lake Nyos in Cameroon did what Kivu scientists are quietly terrified Kivu will do. A small underwater landslide, or possibly a weak seismic tremor, the trigger was never definitively identified, disturbed the deep layer. The saturation point was crossed. The gas column rose, and then it erupted. Not an explosion, a release. A dense, invisible cloud of carbon dioxide rolled down the hillsides at 70 kilometers per hour. It was heavier than air. It flowed into valleys, into villages, into houses where people were asleep. 1,800 people suffocated in their beds. Animals collapsed in fields. Birds fell mid-flight. The gas had no smell, no color, no warning. It was simply the atmosphere replaced. Kivu holds 2,000 times more dissolved gas than Nyos did. The population on its shores is 100 times larger. The triggers are multiplying. Nyiragongo erupted in 2021 and sent lava flows toward the lake's edge. The tremors that followed registered across the entire basin. Scientists measured the deep gas columns afterward. The concentrations had shifted. Here is the part that doesn't appear in the press releases. The models predicting a limnic eruption at Kivu are calibrated on Lake Nyos data. Nyos was the only eruption ever recorded. We have a sample size of one. The physics of what triggers a full lake overturn at Kivu's scale has never been observed. Not once. We are calculating the risk of something that has no confirmed precedent at anything close to this size. Rwanda has been extracting methane from the deep layers since 2016. The Kivu Watt plant pipes it up slowly, deliberately, trying to bleed the pressure down over decades. On paper, the plan is sound. Extract enough gas, reduce the saturation, lower the risk. But the intake is running against the input. Nyiragongo and its sister vents are still feeding the deep. Every year the balance is recalculated. Every year it is closer than the year before. The same physics that pressurize your blood when you dive too fast, the same dissolution, the same saturation curve, is what holds those 60 cubic kilometers suspended beneath the surface. Your body and that lake share the same terrifying chemistry. The only difference is scale and what controls the trigger. In your lungs, it is you. In Lake Kivu, nobody knows. Scientists monitoring the lake have detected something new in the past 2 years. The rhythmic oscillations have changed frequency, not dramatically, barely measurable, but it is a change in a system that was supposed to be stable. They have no explanation for it yet. They are still measuring, still publishing papers that reach opposite conclusions from the same data. 2 million people wake up on those shores every morning, and the lake below them keeps breathing, quietly, rhythmically, waiting for something no instrument has learned to predict. The question isn't whether it can happen. The question is whether we would even have time to know it had started.